All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're breaking down the blueprint for one of the most wanted features in any home: beautiful, natural light. And we're talking way more than just slapping in some bigger windows. This is about a core architectural idea that can totally change the way a home feels and lives. Okay, let's do this.
It's funny. This one simple sentence is so often the very first thing people say when they're dreaming up a new home. It's not about the countertops, it's not even about the square footage, it's about a feeling. That feeling of openness, of energy, of being connected to the world outside. It's this really deep human thing that gets to the heart of what we all want a home to be.
Okay, so before we jump into the how-to, we've got to talk about the why. Why is this such a big deal? Why should you care so much about getting this right? Well, the reasons go so much deeper than just a nice vibe. They touch on everything from your health to your wallet.
And that actually brings us to this really cool concept: biophilic design. Now that might sound fancy, but it's just the official term for something we all feel in our gut. We are just plain happier and healthier when we feel connected to nature. And flooding your home with sunlight, that's one of the best ways to bring that connection inside, helping to lower stress and just make you feel better.
And what's so amazing is that this one design choice, it pays off in 4 huge ways. First, your health. It helps sync up your body's natural clock, which means better energy during the day and better sleep at night. Then there's energy efficiency. Less need to flip on the lights, lower electricity bills. Aesthetically, it makes every room feel bigger, cleaner, and just more alive. And finally, the financial part. It's a smart investment. Homes with great light just sell faster and for more money, period.
All right, let's talk about maybe the single most critical decision in this whole process. We're talking before a single shovel hits the dirt. It's all about orientation. Where you put your house on the property and how you point it towards the sun. That will have the biggest impact of anything. If you get this wrong, you're fighting an uphill battle forever.
So how do the pros get it right? They use something called a sun path analysis. Yeah, this isn't just a guessing game, it's a scientific process using software to map out exactly how the sun is going to move across your specific piece of land, in the summer, in the winter, in the morning, at night. This lets you work with the sun instead of against it. And once you do that analysis, you basically get a playbook for your house. South-facing walls, they are your absolute best friend. They give you that consistent, beautiful light all day long, especially that warm, low sun in the winter. North-facing light is soft and even, perfect for a home office where you don't want any glare. East is fantastic for that morning sun in a kitchen or breakfast nook. But you've got to be really careful with the west. It can get blasted with intense heat in the afternoon, so you need a plan for shade.
Okay, so we've got the house perfectly placed on the lot. Now let's dig into the architectural toolkit. All the ways we can literally design pathways for that sunlight to travel deep inside the home.
Now with windows, it's so tempting to just think bigger is better, right? But it's really all about strategy. For instance, placing a window higher up on a wall lets that light reach way farther into a room. Grouping windows on different walls gives you that nice balanced light all day long instead of just one big blast. And picking window types with less frame and more glass, like picture windows, just makes sense.
But what do you do about those rooms stuck in the middle of the house, like a hallway or a bathroom with no outside walls? The answer is to think vertically. You go up. A skylight or even a more affordable solar tube can act like a pipeline, funneling sunlight straight down from the roof and turning a dark, forgotten space into a bright one.
And you can't forget about the floor plan. This is a huge one. An open floor plan lets light just pour from one space into another, making the whole heart of the home feel bright and airy. A traditional layout with lots of separate rooms, well, those solid walls basically act like dams, stopping the light in its tracks and keeping each room isolated and often a little dark.
All right, so we've managed to get all this beautiful sunlight into the house. What's next? Well, now it's all about amplifying it. We're going to look at interior design choices that can take every sunbeam and make it work overtime.
And it really starts with your walls, with paint. See, every paint color has what's called a light reflectance value, or LRV. The higher the number, the more light literally bounces off the walls. So if you pick paints in that 70 to 90 range, your walls are actively making the room brighter. And your secret weapon? A bright white ceiling. It's the most effective surface for bouncing light back down into the room.
So here's a fun one for you. How can you get the effect of a brand new window instantly making a room brighter without a single bit of construction?
The answer? It's so simple, but it's an absolute game changer. A mirror. If you place a big mirror on the wall right across from a window, it catches all that incoming light and just throws it right back into the room. You're basically doubling the light. It's an old designer trick for a reason. It just works.
And the cool thing is, you don't have to stop there. Light-colored floors bounce light up from the ground. Paint finishes with a little bit of sheen, like satin, catch the light. Glass furniture lets light pass right through it. Even your metal hardware, like chrome or polished nickel, creates tons of tiny little reflections that all add up to make a room feel brighter. Okay, but let's be real. All this amazing sunlight, it can have a downside, right? Like extra heat in the summer or UV rays that can fade your floors and furniture. That's where the last piece of the puzzle comes in. Modern window tech that lets us have the best of both worlds.
The absolute hero here is something called a low-E coating. And seriously, the best way to think about it is like sunglasses for your house. It's this microscopic, totally invisible metallic layer on the glass that does something amazing. It blocks the heat and it blocks the damaging UV rays, but it lets all that beautiful visible light pour right in.
And when you put them side by side, the difference is it's night and day. A standard window lets in everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But a low-E window is a smart filter. It lets in the light you want and it blocks the heat and UV rays you don't. You get all the benefits with none of the downsides. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
You know, sometimes the smartest tech is actually no tech at all. This is just a brilliantly simple design idea. A roof overhang, if you size it just right, will block the high, hot sun in the middle of summer. But in the winter, when the sun is lower in the sky, its rays can sneak right under that overhang and help warm your house, naturally and for free.
So when you pull it all together, from where your house sits on the lot all the way down to the finish on your doorknobs, every single choice is either helping you bring in that light or it's fighting against it. Which really leaves us with one last question to ask about our own homes. Is your home working with the sun or is it working against it?